Math Chapter 9, Length in Metric Units. Today we're focusing on Lesson 9.3, Measure with a Centimeter Ruler. Today's I can statement says, I can use a centimeter ruler to measure lengths. Let's take a look at our model and draw. Our question asks, what is the length of the crayon to the nearest centimeter? There's an important clue here to remind you to line up the left edge of the object with the 0 mark on the ruler, because not all rulers start right at the edge. Some of them start a little ways in, just like the example on the model and draw. So you'll notice they lined it up with the 0 and that the crayon is about 9 centimeters long. Let's take a look at some more problems. Opening to your Share and Show, let's look at the first 3 questions under the Share and Show section of your problem set. The directions say measure the length to the nearest centimeter. So again, you'll notice I took the ruler and lined it up with the 0 and measured the paintbrush. Looking where the paintbrush ends, it's about 15 centimeters. The blue ribbon is next. Lining it up with the 0, I found that it is about 8 centimeters. Next, we have a paintbrush. Make sure you line your ruler up at the 0. And I found that it's about 12 centimeters. Remember, we're measuring to the nearest centimeter, so it's not exact. It's what it's closest to. Let's try the on your own section next. Again, our directions say measure the length to the nearest centimeter. Looking at the dog ribbon, line your ruler up carefully. And how many centimeters long is it? 15 centimeters. Very good. Go ahead and try the blue pencil. Again, make sure you're lining it up carefully with the 0 on your ruler. How many centimeters long is the pencil? 8 centimeters. Very good. Go ahead and try number 6. It's about how many centimeters long? If you said 10 centimeters, you are correct. The last example, like these questions, is a dotted ribbon. Go ahead and line your ruler up carefully with a 0 and see how many centimeters you get. If you said 14 centimeters, you are correct. Let's take a look at some word problems. Our first Go Deeper problem says, a marker is almost 13 centimeters long. This length ends between which 2 centimeter marks on a ruler? Well, if it's almost 13 centimeters long, if you take a look at where I placed the arrow, it might be in between the 12 and the 13 centimeter marks. So if I were to write this in a sentence, I would say, the length ends between the 12 centimeter and 13 centimeter marks. It's in between those two if it's almost 13 centimeters long. Make sure you write a complete sentence for this question. Let's take a look at our Think Smarter question. It says the crayon was on the table next to the centimeter ruler. The left edge of the crayon was not lined up with the 0 mark on the ruler. What is the length of the crayon? Explain how you found your answer. Well, we can see that they made a mistake when they were measuring. They should have lined this up with the 0, but they didn't. However, we can still figure out how many centimeters long it is. Don't say 11 centimeters because that would not be correct because it's not lined up with the 0. There's a couple ways we can figure this out. I like to start at the 3 since that's where they lined up the crayon. And I'm just going to count up until the 11 because that's where it ended. Go ahead and count up with me. Count the spaces as we go. So from 3 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from 3 centimeters up to 11 centimeters, I jumped 8 times. So the answer would be 8 centimeters. If I were to write that in a sentence, I might say, the length of the crayon is 8 centimeters. I counted up from 3 centimeters to 11 centimeters on the ruler. The last problem in our problem set, another Think Smarter question, says this is Lee's string. Hannah's string is 7 centimeters long. Whose string is longer? Use a centimeter ruler to find out. Explain. Well, we already know that Hannah's string is 7 centimeters long. If you look below, I lined my ruler up carefully to measure Lee's string. How many centimeters is Lee's string? That's right, 4 centimeters. So if Lee's string is 4 centimeters and Hannah's string is 7 centimeters, we know that Hannah's string is longer. And I've made sure to explain that in my answer. Lee's string is only 4 centimeters long. Hannah's string is 7 centimeters. Hannah's string is longer. Awesome job following along and looking at our problem set. Go ahead and complete your homework now.